When 35-year-old Captain Mike Rodriguez appeared in Frank Caprio's courtroom for driving without a license, everyone thought it was just another case of bureaucratic oversight. But what this decorated firefighter had been secretly doing for 8 months would leave the judge speechless and expose a heartbreaking truth that would change how America honors its heroes. Judge Frank Caprio looked at his morning docket with surprise. Captain Mike Rodriguez, age 35, was listed as a defendant for driving without a valid license. What made this unusual was that Mike was a decorated firefighter with the Providence Fire Department, exactly the kind of person who typically had their paperwork in perfect order. When Mike entered the courtroom, Frank immediately noticed something was wrong. The tall, broad-shouldered firefighter moved carefully, favoring his left leg, and there were visible scars on his hands and neck that hadn't been there during his previous commendations in this same courthouse. "Captain Rodriguez," Frank began, "this is quite unusual. You've been in my courtroom before for positive recognition. Can you explain why you're here today for driving without a license?" Mike stood straight despite his obvious discomfort. "Your Honor, my license expired 4 months ago. I haven't been able to renew it." Frank studied the man more carefully. Mike's uniform was impeccable, but Frank noticed he gripped the podium slightly for support. "Captain, why haven't you renewed your license?" "It's a simple process." Mike hesitated, his jaw tightening. "It's complicated, Your Honor." But what he revealed next shocked everyone in the courtroom. "Captain Rodriguez, I need you to help me understand this. You're a fire captain. Organization and following procedures are part of your job. Why would you let your license expire?" Mike's voice remained steady, but Frank caught a slight tremor. "Your Honor, to renew my license I need to pass the vision and reaction time tests. And I'm not sure I can pass them anymore." The courtroom fell silent. Frank leaned forward. "Captain, are you saying you have vision problems?" Mike nodded slowly. "Among other things. Yes, sir." Frank felt a chill of recognition. "Captain Rodriguez, were you injured in the line of duty?" "Yes, Your Honor. 8 months ago. The Riverside warehouse fire." Frank remembered that fire. It had been all over the local news. 3 firefighters had been hospitalized when part of the building collapsed. "Captain, what specifically happened to you in that fire?" This is where the story took a heartbreaking turn. Mike took a deep breath. "I was leading a search and rescue team on the 2nd floor when the ceiling came down. A beam hit me in the head, and burning debris damaged my eyes and hands." He paused, struggling with the words. "I have partial vision loss in my left eye, reduced peripheral vision and nerve damage in both hands that affects my grip strength and reaction time." Frank felt his heart sink. "Captain, are you still on active duty?" "No, sir. I've been on medical leave for 8 months. And the fire department knows about your injuries." Mike looked away. "They know about the obvious ones. But I haven't told them about the full extent of the vision and coordination problems." Frank was confused. "Why not, Captain?" "Because if they knew, they'd force me into medical retirement. And I'm not ready to stop being a firefighter." The truth behind his deception was devastating. Frank called for a brief recess and asked Mike to join him in his chambers. As they walked back, Frank noticed Mike occasionally reached out to steady himself against the wall. "Captain Rodriguez, I need you to be completely honest with me. What's really going on?" Mike sat down heavily, and for the first time, Frank saw the exhaustion and fear in his eyes. "Your Honor, being a firefighter isn't just my job. It's who I am. I've been with the department for 12 years. I've saved lives, mentored young firefighters, and built my entire identity around serving this community." His voice cracked slightly. "If I admit I can't do the job anymore, what am I? Who am I without the uniform?" Frank felt a deep sadness for this proud man struggling with the loss of his calling. "Captain, what about your family? Do they know about the extent of your injuries?" "I'm not married. No kids. The department is my family, and I can't bear the thought of them looking at me with pity instead of respect." But the most shocking revelation was yet to come. "Captain Rodriguez, if you can't drive safely, how have you been getting around for the past 4 months?" Mike looked ashamed. "I've been walking everywhere, or taking the bus when I have to go farther distances." "What about medical appointments? Physical therapy?" "I walk to those too. It takes me about 2 hours each way to get to the VA hospital for my therapy sessions." Frank was astounded. "You walk 4 hours round trip for medical appointments?" "Yes, sir, 3 times a week." "Captain, why don't you just take a taxi or use ride-sharing?" Mike's voice dropped to almost a whisper. "Your Honor, I'm on unpaid medical leave. The workers' compensation is tied up in bureaucracy. I don't have the money for taxis and I'm too proud to ask for help. Frank's investigation revealed something incredible. Captain, what about the driving violation that brought you here? If you're walking everywhere, why were you pulled over? Mike's composure finally cracked. Your Honor, there was an emergency. A neighbor's house caught fire while I was walking home from therapy. I saw the smoke and called 911, but I could hear a child screaming inside. Frank's eyes widened. What did you do? I broke into my neighbor's unlocked car and drove to the fire. I helped get the family out before the fire department arrived. You drove illegally to save lives? Yes, sir. I know it was wrong, but I couldn't just stand there and let people die because I was too proud to renew my license. Frank felt tears forming. Captain, did you save them? The family is fine, but a police officer saw me driving without a license and had to write the ticket. What Frank discovered next amazed him. Frank made several phone calls during a longer recess. When court resumed, he had invited several unexpected guests. Captain Rodriguez, I'd like you to meet some people who wanted to come today. The courtroom doors opened, and in walked Fire Chief Patricia Williams, Dr. Michael Thompson from the VA hospital, and surprisingly the Martinez family, Carlos, his wife Rosa, and their 8-year-old daughter Sofia. Chief Williams approached Mike with tears in her eyes. Mike, why didn't you tell us how bad things were? We're not just your colleagues, we're your family. 8-year-old Sofia broke free from her parents and ran to Mike. Captain Mike, you saved us. You're our hero. The family's testimony brought everyone to tears. Carlos Martinez stepped forward. Your Honor, this man risked everything to save our family. When we saw the smoke, we couldn't get to Sofia's room. Captain Rodriguez broke down the door with his bare hands and carried her out. Rosa added, he didn't just save our daughter, he went back in twice to make sure no one else was trapped. He did this while injured, without proper equipment because it was the right thing to do. Sofia looked up at Mike with adoring eyes. Captain Mike, you told me that heroes don't need perfect eyes to see what's right. Frank wiped his eyes as Mike knelt down to Sofia's level, his own tears flowing freely. Sofia, you made it easy to be brave. Heroes protect each other, remember. The fire chief's announcement changed everything. Chief Williams stepped forward. Mike, we've been reviewing your case. Dr. Thompson here has some news about your condition. Dr. Thompson smiled. Captain Rodriguez, your latest tests show significant improvement. With continued therapy and some adaptive equipment, there's no medical reason you can't return to active duty. Mike looked stunned. Are you serious? The vision loss is permanent but manageable. The coordination issues have improved dramatically. You'll need corrective lenses and modified equipment, but you can absolutely continue firefighting. Chief Williams added, Mike, we're also implementing a new policy. No firefighter faces medical challenges alone. We're creating a peer support program and ensuring that workers' compensation issues are resolved within 30 days, not months. But the most touching moment was still coming. Frank stood up and approached Mike. Captain Rodriguez, your driving charges are dismissed, but more importantly, you've taught us all something about true heroism. He gestured to the people surrounding Mike. You were so afraid of losing your identity as a firefighter that you couldn't see you were being the best firefighter possible, protecting people even when you thought you couldn't do the job anymore. Sofia tugged on Mike's uniform. Captain Mike, will you come to my school and tell kids about being brave? Mike smiled through his tears. I'd be honored, Sofia. Chief Williams announced, Mike, when you're ready to return, you'll be promoted to Battalion Chief. Your experience with adversity makes you exactly the leader our department needs. The program that emerged was revolutionary. 3 months later, Captain Mike Rodriguez returned to active duty as Battalion Chief, specializing in firefighter safety and adaptive techniques. His experience led to the creation of the Rodriguez Resilience Program, a comprehensive support system for injured firefighters. The program included immediate medical and financial support for injured firefighters, adaptive equipment and training for those with disabilities, peer counseling and mental health resources, career transition services when needed, family support services. The program became a model for fire departments nationwide, helping hundreds of injured firefighters return to service or transition to new careers with dignity. The community response was overwhelming. Mike's story spread throughout the firefighting community. The International Association of Fire Chiefs created the Rodriguez Award for firefighters who demonstrate exceptional courage in the face of personal adversity. The Martinez family started the Sofia's Heroes Fund to support injured first responders and their families. The fund has raised over $500,000 for firefighter assistance programs. Most meaningfully, Sofia Martinez, now 10 years old, still visits Mike at the fire station every month, and has announced she wants to be a firefighter when she grows up. The medical breakthrough that helped thousands. Dr. Thompson's work with Mike led to advances in treating firefighter injuries. The adaptive techniques developed for Mike's vision and coordination issues have been implemented in training programs across the country. Mike's case taught us that we were too quick to medically retire firefighters. Dr. Thompson explained, with proper support and adaptive techniques, many injured firefighters can continue serving effectively. The treatment protocols developed for Mike have helped over 2,000 injured firefighters return to active duty nationally. The fire department transformation was remarkable. The Providence Fire Department became a national leader in supporting injured personnel. Chief Williams was promoted to State Fire Marshal, implementing the Rodriguez program statewide. Mike's courage in facing his injuries head-on changed our entire culture, Chief Williams reflected. We learned that supporting our injured firefighters isn't just compassionate, it's practical. Experience and wisdom don't disappear because of physical limitations. Fire departments in 34 states have adopted elements of the Rodriguez program, improving both firefighter welfare and department effectiveness. The full circle moment that defined everything. 2 years after his court appearance, Battalion Chief Mike Rodriguez returned to Frank Caprio's courtroom, not as a defendant, but as the guest speaker for the court's Courage Under Fire program. Judge Caprio, Mike said, 2 years ago, I stood here feeling like a broken man who had lost everything that defined him. You helped me see that my identity wasn't my limitations. It was my commitment to service. Frank smiled with deep satisfaction. Mike, you were never broken. You were healing, and healing takes courage. Mike pulled out a photo from his uniform pocket. It showed him in his battalion chief uniform, standing with Sofia Martinez at her school's career day, surrounded by dozens of children listening to his presentation about courage and resilience. This is what heroism looks like now, Judge. Not just running into fires, but teaching the next generation that setbacks don't define us. How we respond to them does. The firefighter who hid his injuries to keep his identity became the leader who showed others that true strength comes from accepting help and adapting to challenges. Today, Battalion Chief Mike Rodriguez is 37 years old and serves as the Providence Fire Department's Director of Firefighter Wellness and Adaptive Services. He has been instrumental in helping 47 injured firefighters return to active duty. His vision has stabilized with corrective equipment, and his coordination has improved to the point where he regularly participates in rescue operations. More importantly, he's become a mentor to firefighters facing their own challenges. Frank Caprio keeps Mike's original driving citation in his desk drawer, now marked "Dismissed, Hero Still Serving," a reminder that sometimes the people who seem most broken are actually demonstrating the greatest strength. The legacy that continues saving lives. The Rodriguez Resilience Program has expanded to include police officers, EMTs, and other first responders. Over 5,000 injured first responders have received support through programs inspired by Mike's story. Sofia Martinez, now 12, has started a youth program called Future Heroes, where children learn about first responder careers and resilience. Mike serves as the program's honorary advisor. Captain Mike taught me that heroes aren't people who never get hurt, Sofia explains to younger children. Heroes are people who get hurt and keep helping others anyway. Because both Mike and Frank learned something that day that changed everything. Sometimes the most important fires we fight aren't in burning buildings, they're the ones that threaten to consume our sense of purpose and identity. And sometimes the greatest act of heroism is admitting we need help to keep serving others.